Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we're going to Atlanta Motor Speedway, the mile-and-a-half track coming off of the Daytona 500 where Joey Logano picked up the victory and we finished 8th. And our Xfinity team with Ryan Vargas, he finished in the 20th position. In today's episode we're going into Atlanta with Zane Smith in the car, and I said last episode we're going to come in here and not run well because the team fell behind in the offseason. We were struggling with speed coming into this race, and Zane Smith started about 38th, and it unfortunately really didn't get any better from there. It actually got worse as he came through turns 1 and 2. You can clearly see how little speed he had in the car, and this is a lot like Hailie Deegan's race for our team at this track last season, so I wasn't too surprised he would quickly fall back and even get passed by Morgan Shepherd. So there was really nothing to show you guys. By the time I came to the final lap, he had fallen so far behind. He was about 10 seconds behind the next car ahead at the very best as he came down the back straightaway into turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time in Atlanta. And it was a very rough go for Zane Smith here in Atlanta Motor Speedway as he came out of turn 4 down the front straightaway to come through the tri-oval to cross the line and give us a 40th place finish. So a rough day, and I expected it. Like I said, we were going to have a rough day coming into Atlanta, and hopefully we can prepare the car enough going into Las Vegas where we can be competitive. And in the next episode, I believe we will have Hailie Deegan in the car, so that's going to be something to look forward to, fresh off of her Xfinity Series Championship last season. She's had a rough start in the Daytona 500 after getting caught up in the only legitimate crash in the last episode, but now as we look towards the Cup Series race, a track that I usually don't qualify very well at, which is Atlanta, but we usually run pretty well at, and we did get a team offer contract thing come up, so obviously we're going to contact Stewart Haas Racing, the team we're on now. We might stick with this team for a season or two, we'll see, hopefully it goes well. And now as we look towards Atlanta, we come to qualifying down the back straightaway. We made it to the second session there as we passed Jimmy Johnson going into turn 3 and 4. Like I said, I usually don't qualify very well at this track, usually in the mid-teens, so I was expecting that here in Atlanta once again. As we came through the tri-oval coming across the line, we would hit a 29.315 at our best. This lap here wasn't as good, and I would call it there, and we will start P16 for Atlanta, so let's see what we can do.
Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the running of the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. This 1.5-mile oval is popular with both fans and drivers alike. It's popular because 21 years of wear has widened the racing groove from the apron to the wall. There's very little grip, which produces side-by-side action and close finishes. Now, the track surface was all set to get resurfaced after the 2017 race, but an outpouring of opposition forced them to push that date back. Will we get another close finish today? Let's head on down to the track and find out right here on PRN.
All right, we are ready to go green. There's a bit of an audio cutout in this first intro part here, so be aware of that. But Eric Almirola didn't have a good practice session. Ross Chastain gave up qualifying position for new tires, and Ryan Preece had an engine change after qualifying, so he will be starting in the back of the field as we get ready to start behind the number 2 car, Brad Keselowski, last season's champion and now 2-time Cup Series champion, as we are ready to take the green flag in Atlanta. The green flag is out, and we are underway here in Atlanta Motor Speedway from the 16th starting position with a goal position of a top 15. Now as we head down into turns 1, Chase Elliott leads it to the green, and Elliott only has 1 win in our career mode so far in his first 2 seasons that we've done of this, so he's not had a great career mode so far, but he's trying to turn that around this season as we come down the back straightaway side by side with the 43 car of Bubba Wallace as we head down into turns 3. And as we head down into turn 3, we have the 10 of Almirola, our teammate, and Ricky Spinhouse behind me. Now as we run that top line, we have a chance to get to the bottom, so obviously I'm going to hop down there and try to make a 3 wide with the 43, maybe Bubba Wallace, but I thought better of it for a moment, at least as we went down into turns 1. Chase Elliott off to an early advantage as he pulls away from the field. Now as we do have a chance to make a 3 wide with the 43 and the 2, and we hop on that opportunity now as we come down the back straightaway as they battle behind our former driver we took over of Jamie McMurray now, as he is just in front of me in the 40 car, as he is side by side with another former teammate of Kyle Larson down as we come through the front straightaway, making a little bit of contact with the 2 as we would come across the line. We would work our way up to 14th by the time we came to start lap 4, just in front of the 2 of Keselowski, passing Denny Hamlin on the inside as he is starting to fall backwards early on in this event, as we would clear him on the exit of turn 2 down the front straight, or back straightaway. And Jamie McMurray certainly looks to have a pretty strong car here in Atlanta. He might actually be a threat this season to make the playoffs. We could see all 3 now of the Chip Ganassi Racing cars in the playoffs. Usually you're used to seeing 1 and maybe 2 at best. Now as we come out of turn 4, Jamie McMurray and myself would continue to climb up. We moved up to P11. McMurray hopped into the top 10. As we head into turns 1 in front of the 2, the 11 goes spinning of Denny Hamlin. He collects the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who goes hard into the outside wall. And Hamlin and Johnson have a vicious crash, or a violent crash, in turns 1 and 2. And Johnson collected a ton of damage, but no one would be out of the race. Actually, I believe Hamlin would DNF. He looked like he blew a tire or something, but we would stay out and take the green flag from the 11th starting position again. And Jimmy Johnson's got a lot of damage on his car. I was looking back there to see, because at the time I wasn't 100% sure who it was that crashed, so I was looking back to see any cars with damage in it. It was the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who went very hard into the wall. He should have clearly been out of the race, just like Denny Hamlin, but Johnson was able to continue as we come down the back straightaway now with just 11 laps to go, approaching 10 to go, and stage on the inside of the 88 of Alex Bowman, who's having a pretty decent start to this race as we fall in behind Joey Logano, who won last episode in the Daytona 500. I believe he might have won the Daytona 500 in my rookie season as well. Now as we take him 3 wide across the line, though, trying to move in to the 7th position as we pass Logano just about going into turns 1 and 2. He will get the momentum, though, to actually clear me through the center of the corner as we battle alongside his teammate Ryan Blaney, who won the last 2 races of last season at ISM Raceway in Homestead, Miami, as he missed the playoffs last season, and he wants to certainly change that this season as we come through turns 3 and 4, clearing the 12 of Blaney as Logano takes Kurt Busch and our teammate Clint Boyer 3 wide out of turn 4 as we come through the front straightaway, and we would get past a few more cars. We moved up to P7, we passed our teammate Boyer, and you see Chase Elliott, who started on the pole, starts to drift backwards just a little bit now as we have just 5 to go in the stage through turns 3 and turns 4. Now as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. starts blowing up down the back straightaway as we go into turn 3, and he's going to cause a huge crash as he goes hard in the wall, collecting the 24 of William Byron and the 32 of Corey LaJoie, and that would bring out a caution, and we have mixed strategies when it comes to the pit stops. We would stay out obviously in a position to make something happen here at the end of the first stage, but a very dramatic start to this race as we get ready to go green, and it's back out. It's just a 1 lap dash to the end of the stage as Logano, he got to the lead, and Kurt Busch sits P2 as we're going to take Elliott and Busch 3 wide as we head down into turns 1, trying to make something happen as we approach the back bumper of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Obviously I have no problem with taking Elliott 3 wide going down into turns 1 now as we come out of turn 2, side by side with him, though, as we try to give him the room he needs as we come down the back straightaway for the final time in the first stage. Heading into turns 3 and 4, Logano tries to hold on to the stage victory like he did hold on to the victory in the Daytona 500 as we come out of turn 4 on the back of the 1 car of Kurt Busch, and Logano will win the stage, and we come through to finish 4th in stage 1 with Kurt Busch having a nice top 3 finish there in stage 1, and Truex was 2nd. Our former teammate Kyle Larson rallied back to get 5th, and we would come to pit road. I would decide to only take 2 tires here for a moment. You see, I was going to go with 4, then I went back and switched to just right sides, and we would actually gain spots, and it would be not really good for me because I know in the long run we're going to have older tires because the AI took 4. You see, all the other cars had stayed out. We would be the furthest up ahead with the freshest tires as the green flag comes out. The stage 2 is underway as we start from P14 now as we try to rally up towards the front now behind the 62 of Brendan Gaughan with our former Xfinity driver Haley Deegan there on the bottom line as she had a rough outing in Daytona as we try to look to the outside of Gaughan down the back straightaway now as we fall back in line behind him as we're side by side with the 22 of Joey Logano as we head down into turn 3, jumping back up to that top line now, going on the outside 3 wide with Gaughan in the 62 as we try to get to the right rear of the 71 of Ryan Truex now as we come through the tri-oval across the line side by side 3 wide as we head down in to turns 1 now as we we would fall back in behind him and continue to use that outside though, but we get a big run through the center of the corners. We are able to look to the outside of Truex, and now he is side by side with Logano, so we're 3 wide of them as Truex backs up, and we look to the outside of the 47 of Priest going into turn 3 as Michael McDowell in the number 34 leads the race as we get into the back of the 66 of Joey Gase. He checked up a lot more than I expected him to, so it was certainly not what I meant to do, but by the time we came to the back straightaway on lap 3, working our way into the top 10 side by side with Haley Deegan behind the number 8 of Daniel Hemrick, as those two battle for Rookie of the Year right now, as we would clear both of them, Hemrick and Deegan, as we moved up to P7, and that we would get up to P5, P4, battling for the lead just about now, as we would run away from all those cars trying to pass Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the outside. Certainly a little risky trying to pass the 17, as you never know what's going to happen when you're around Ricky Stenhouse. But I could feel my tires going away, so I would end up getting to the bottom line because I really couldn't make the outside work. And we got to the inside of Stenhouse, and we were able to pass him and move our way up to P3 behind the number 24 of William Byron, who's having a decent second stage, obviously, because he stayed out. And we would look to his inside and try to get past him as we went down into turns 1 with only 6 laps to go in the stage at this point, as we would get ahead of the 24 of William Byron and set our sights on the 34 of Michael McDowell as we came down the back straightaway, closing in on him, and then another lap went by, coming to 4 to go in the stage, looking to the inside of McDowell as he left the hole. So obviously we're going to take advantage, and through the center of the corner we're side by side for the lead as my tires are wearing very fast, and he was actually able to put up a fight as we came across the line with 4 to go in the second stage, as we would go down into turns 1, continuing to battle with the 34 of Michael McDowell. But finally through the center of the corner we would power through and clear the 34 of McDowell down the back straightaway, and we would not look back, as he would actually be able to stick with me quite a bit though. By the time we came to the final lap in the stage, he's only about 2 or 3 car lengths behind as we head down into turns 1 and 2, as the tires just continued to wear, and we were just hanging on at this point. But we are set up to get a playoff point as we come down the back straightaway for the final time in the stage. Our tires are very worn at this point as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4, just trying to make sure I don't screw up and give up the stage victory. As we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, we are going to hang on to get our first stage victory of the season with Stuart Haas racing in the number 41 car, and a playoff point will be added to our name as we hopefully can accumulate a bunch of playoff points this season. And I really felt like last season, the lack of playoff points that we picked up are certainly one of the biggest problems, or one of the biggest factors that got us eliminated in the round of 8 now, as we would take 4 tires on the pit stop and come out still in P1. So this made me pretty confident to have maybe a good chance of finishing at least in the top 5 as the green flag comes out, and we are back underway here in Atlanta. And I was pretty confident that we don't have the speed to win this race. I mean, you saw right there on worn tires, I wasn't even pulling away from Michael McDowell, who's really a 4-star team. So I knew that for sure that once the faster cars get past Stenhouse and McDowell, we're probably going to lose the lead, but we're going to do whatever we can right now to keep this lead for the time being and try to lead as many laps as we can before the faster cars catch up as we head down into turns 3 and turns 4, immediately pulling away from the 17 and the 34 McDowell, who battle side by side as we came across the line with just over about 35 laps to go in this final stage as we head down into turns 1 and turns 2. Stenhouse tries to clear the 34 McDowell, as he does, as he moves in to that second position ahead of the 24 of William Byron as we come down the back straightaway, just trying to maintain this gap right now. Like I said, I don't think we're going to be in position to win this race by the time we get to the end. We might actually have to make a green flag pit stop too, but that is if it stays green now as we would come through to cross the line to hit 35 to go in the race. We have about 27-ish laps of fuel, and we're not going to be able to save that much. So certainly if it stays green, we're going to have to come into pit road. I mean, if a caution comes up, we'll be pitting anyways. And as we head down towards turns 3, at this point you notice that Joey Logano, he got up to P2, and he was actually starting to close the gap on me as he was reeling me in. Truex, I believe, might be in 3rd as we come out of turn 4 down the front straightaway. At this point, a little concerned as the caution would come out though, and that would give us a chance to come to pit road, and I figured that we would probably want to take 2 tires on this pit stop. I did switch it again to 2 tires before we went to the green flag, and we would lose 6 positions on the pit stop and fall back to P7. So a bit of a setback, but I felt like it's going to be worth it in the long run as the green flag is back out, starting behind our teammate Clint Boyer in the number 14 cars. There is just 23 laps to go at this point in the race. Logano, Truex side by side for the lead as we go down into turns 1. Paul Menard behind the 22 of Logano. Paul Menard did win a race in the playoffs last season. Obviously, he didn't make the playoffs, but he at least won a race. I believe it was Martinsville that he won as we come down the back straightaway, though, battling alongside as we head down into turn 3. Bowman on my outside as we look to the inside of Kyle Busch now, and the number 18 Toyota Camry as we come out of turn 4. A little bit loose there on the exit of the corner as we make contact with the 18 of Kyle Busch, but we keep the car straight now as we come through down into turns 1. Logano is clear for the lead over second place. Paul Menard in the 21, Penske affiliate team there in the Wood Brothers Racing, as Kurt Busch looks to my, tried to look to my inside, but he was unable to do so as he battles alongside the 18 of Kyle Busch, his brother, as we head down into turn 3 now, side by side with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. as he settles into his new team as we come out of turn 4, approaching the line, just over 20 to go, now 21 to be exact, as we would move into the 4th position here going into turns 1. And Boyer, he falls down up into the outside. Actually, he looked like he was going to get down to the bottom, but he went back up to the top. As we come out of turn 2, he would hit the wall, but we would get ahead of him, and Paul Menard would get ahead of Joey Logano for the lead as we battle now alongside the 1 of Kurt Busch, who makes contact on my inside, and we would end up losing that position to Kurt Busch and Keselowski, who battle side by side, and that would also allow the 19 of Truex to my inside, so we would fall in line in P6 just in front of Kyle Busch, but I couldn't keep the car pinned down, and that would allow the 18 to get to my inside, and Alex Bowman would follow through. But fortunately, we were able to stay in 6th position as we would actually be able to hold on ahead of the 88 of Bowman with just 10 to go at this point. You see the top 5 cars really battling it out for the lead position. No one could really keep the lead for a handful of laps as it just continued to shuffle through. Kyle Busch now moves to the lead as his brother Kurt Busch follows through as we come out of turn 4, and by the time we came to lap 75, we caught up to this battle behind 5th place now of Keselowski, and Paul Menard, he would follow through now behind me with Clint Boyer coming in as well as we come through turns 2 on the exit of the corner, trying to look to the inside of Keselowski as he gets into the wall, so we would look to his inside down the back straightaway as we head down into turn 3, as Kyle Busch would actually continue to lead this race as we try to clear the 2 of Brad Keselowski through turns 3 and 4, but he would hang on my outside as we come through the tri-oval to hit the line. It is just 6 laps to go at this point in the race as we head down into turns 1. Certainly an opportunity. I don't think we're going to win, but an opportunity to get a top 5 here in Atlanta as we come out of turn 2. And by the time it came to 2 to go, Kyle Busch would lose the lead as Logano sits P2, and Martin Truex Jr. would move up to 1st as we would leave the inside open for just a second, and Paul Menard and Clint Boyer would take full advantage of it as they would completely blow by me on the inside as we come down the back straightaway, approaching the white flag as Truex in the 19 car tries to hold on to the victory. Last season, he made the Final 4. He was really the top car last season, and he didn't bring home the championship as we come out of turn 4 through the tri-oval to start the final lap here in Atlanta behind our teammate of Clint Boyer, who's going to be the best Stewart-Haas finishing car, likely Boyer, as we come through turns 1 and 2. Truex tries to hold on to the lead, but Logano looks to the bottom as we come down the back straightaway. Is he going to be able to do it as we come down towards turns 3, just ahead of Alex Bowman, as Truex is going to stay on that inside line as we head down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in Atlanta. And Martin Truex Jr. has made the switch to Joe Gibbs Racing, and he is going to get his first win for that team in Atlanta as we cross the line in 7th. So really a solid finish here in Atlanta. Nothing to be ashamed of as we also picked up a playoff point. So really overall a great race for us. Kyle Larson didn't get a great finish. He fell down to 20th. William Byron 25th. Denny Hamlin, like I said, DNF 75 laps down in 40th. So a very unfortunate finish for him, but hopefully for him he can rebound here in the coming races as we actually move up to 2nd in the points. So very good start for us in this season as we look to do some great things with this 41 team. And we did bring home quite a bit of money that we can invest into making our Xfinity team even better, as obviously we struggled pretty hard in this episode with the Xfinity race, and we have nothing but nice things from other drivers, so that's good. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be incredibly appreciated. Thank you for taking the time out of you guys' day to watch one of my videos. I do appreciate it very much. And in the next episode, we will be going to Las Vegas. It's going to be episode 100 of this career mode, so I might do like a 50% race or something a little bit special, maybe. I'm not 100% sure yet. But there's your playoff grid, so we'll see how much it changes up going into the next coming episode. So thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys in the next episode for Las Vegas. Thanks for watching again, and have a great day, everybody.